What up, everybody? Poker here. Today we're going to go ahead and do some fixes for the True First Person, and then we're going to do some fixes for GASP integration. So let's go ahead and first thing we're going to do is if we go into client mode, we can't go into first person. So quick, easy fix for that. Go into our character. SGK master character, we want to go to the event graph. And then right here on our camera switch, this is actually being called from a run on server event. So what we need to do here is go ahead and create a custom event. We will call this client set camera. We'll set it to run on client. We'll set it to reliable. And then we'll just swap it here. And drag that on there. Change the name to camera type. And then we can disconnect that. Oops, I'm just on an event graph, wasn't it? Yeah, right there. So now we should be able to see. Oh, now it should work. Yeah, there we go. All right, another issue with client is the aim offset doesn't work. So to fix that, what we're going to do is go back into our holdable items. The master range weapon. And back in here in our aiming, you remember we set this up yesterday and then we added this into the site details and then created a new site details graph. Well, what we're going to do is just go ahead and cut this out of here, delete that, hook this back up. Actually, we didn't need to do it in this one because we're actually deleting the get site details too. So we need to go back into this get site details and just bypass everything here. So we have everything cut already. And then what we need to do is go in here to attachments. And we are going to add this. Drag out from here, get attachment type. We run an equals enum, set to site, a branch. From the true branch, we're going to go ahead and set our site variable. And then we are going to add this right here. Now, what this does is before when we were setting our site, or if you had it, let's say you had your weapon out, you had a sight on it, and then you swapped sights. The first time you went to go aim, it would still be using the sight offset from the original sight. This is going to fix this. We also have to make sure that we have set this sight socket offset variable to replicated. Very important. Not going to work if you don't do this. So set your sight variable to replicated. Set it up here on the apply weapon attachment stats function. And then we want to go back into aiming again. And the next thing we're going to do here is, if you remember, we set up this right here. There's issues with this as well. So we're going to have to change a few things on this. Go ahead and disconnect it right here. Highlight it all. Collapse to a function. We will call this set socket offset. And we can open it up. We're going to add a branch. We'll plug the condition in there, and we will call this is aimed. True goes there, false goes there. Now, there is an issue with our saved socket offset variable here not working properly because what's happening is, let's say you switch into, you aim while you're in third person. The socket's not getting offset, the save's not getting offset, or the offset's not getting saved. And then vice versa, if you zoom in first person, it's saving it, but if you zoom out and then go to back to third person, it's going to screw it up. So the best thing to do at this point right now is to just set the socket offset right here back to whatever, it's not negative, whatever your offset is on your camera boom here, whatever offset you're using in here, whatever this number is right here. So if you're on the left hand side, it would be negative 30. So right here we're 30, so we're just going to do that. We're not going to worry about save socket offset anymore. We don't even need to set it. We can just bypass it like that. All we need is this here. Eventually we'll figure out something. I was thinking maybe on the character we could create a variable that has this value on it and then add it into the SGK character camera function so that when you're getting that, you could get the offset on the that you want to have always set for your camera here. That's one way you could do it. But for now, we're just going to do it like this because it works. And then you can figure that out later. But anyway, once we have this function made, we want to go back in here to aiming. And on this one, we can just plug these two in. Want to duplicate it. And we want to copy it again. And we want to go down in here. And it has to be after, well, no, it doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter. We just want to make sure that it is, that we're not putting it up here. We want to have it right here. So we're going to put one right here. And that's going to be our aimed. And then we will make another one right here. And that'll be not aimed. All right, and then just to be safe, what we're going to do is on this client exit aim, we're going to go ahead and add another one. All right, so that's going to, if it exits aim for some reason, it's going to make sure that it resets the socket offset. And then we also want to go down here to the server exit aim. And let's see, where's the best place to put this one? I feel like it needs to get this one too. I guess, yeah, we can just do it here. That's fine. Because it's going to fire at a client anyway. So yeah, that's fine. We can just put it right here. And we should be good on that. So yeah, this is going to fire it in server. And then if it is actually a client one too, then it's going to go ahead and fire that one as well. So we're good on that. That should take care of that. Next, what was the other issue that we had on character? True first person. I think that's pretty much it. We fixed the visibility issues on the equipment right here. Oh, so that's kind of weird. What happened there? That's very interesting. Did I set something different? Got to be in here. So first person, save socket offset, unaimed in first person. Should be setting it back to. Oh, that's why it should be in third person. That's why. And what we can do is go ahead and, yeah, I forgot we need to do that. Right here, we need an extra one. We need 2 of these here. That's why. That was very weird. But this one we need to set to 0. Because what was happening is it was switching and it was putting us into the wrong offset. Now it should be good. Yep. Now that is one issue. Not really sure how we can do that. If you zoom in while in third person, then switch to first, that would have to be done something on the character. Like you'd have to get the offset and make sure that if like check to see if you are aimed. Let's just let me see. So when you go to your camera switch here, you'd want to how could we do that? Do we have an aim on here? No. SGK aim? Oh, that's for the holdable interface, so we would need to character component. Holding item. Let's see, how would this work? Oh, we'd have to set it back here before here. No? I don't know. There's a way to do it. It's too early for me right now to try and think into that one, so we're just gonna go ahead and do something else right here real quick. So since this is a timeline and it plays for a quarter of a second, what is it, 60 frames per second? That's 15 times that these are going to fire. We don't really need to do that, so let's just throw a do once in here. I will revisit this aim offset thing later as far as switching out of third person. So we put this do once on here, and it's going to make it so it only fires one time. That is 15. Just a little less overhead, I guess. So there's that. That should be pretty much everything there, I think, for the stuff. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much all we need for now. The weapon fix and the client fixes here. So now let's go ahead and take a look at some GASP issues here. All right, so first, let's see, inputs, do we need to go in here? Well, we already did all this for the traversal, that's all set up. Sandbox character. I don't think that we did this because we're switching over the movement system in GASP to use the sandbox character's movement, but we need to change a few things here. So if we haven't done this already, what you want to do is go to your sandbox character here and go into the can sprint, which is in the movement here. We want to get component by class. BP character component is the class. Drag out, get a player inventory. Set in is valid. Go ahead and copy these. Paste them again right here. You're going to have to go into player inventory. And we want to go into the movement, event graph movement. And right here down on this section, you want to create a new variable, min stamina. And it's a float. And we're going to put it right here. And we're going to plug that in there and plug that in there. And once you have that, we're going to go back to our sandbox character. And in the can sprint node, you want to go ahead and get a minimum stamina. And then you want a greater than, if so, current stamina needs to be greater than the minimum stamina to be able to run. Then you add a new pin here, plug that in. That will take care of that. Next, we need to go to other interfaces, SGK character interface. We already set the traversal. What are we doing on this one? Oh, yeah. Is it character? Hang on, I need to look at my other project real quick. I got this for a second. Yeah, okay. All right, so on the character interface, we're going to go ahead and add one more function here. SGK get gate. We will set an output to gate and just call it gate. And on SGK master character, go to our interfaces, open that, and we should have a gate, add it. And then we go back into master character. Yeah, sandbox character, calculate max. No. Sorry. We're back in SGK master character. We want to go back into our movement graph. Where was that? Oh, no, that's player inventory. Player inventory. So now, while we're in here, right here, we want to get an SGK character. And we want to get SGK get gate. And then what we can do here, did I create a variable? I don't think I created a variable. I think I just drug it around. Let's see. Give me a moment here while we're looking at this. Yeah, I guess I did make a variable just to make it a little cleaner. So create a variable. Bring it down here. We want to do a equal enum. Set it to sprint. From here, do an and boolean. And then we are going to replace all of this right here by just plugging this in right here. And what that's going to do is on our input graph on master character, we want to just go ahead and disconnect all these. Oops. Break nodes. Break nodes. Break nodes. Break nodes. So on forward, back, left, and right, just go ahead and break the nodes on there because there's really nothing extra that's going on in here that GASP isn't already doing. So this is just like adjusting your angle to your movement and stuff like that, which GASP already does. So we don't need that. yesterday we should have, or when we did the GASP tutorial, we should have disconnected these. Just go ahead and reconnect them. If you deleted them, just bring them back in, copy it over from the GASP, or just set it up. All it is get control rotation, get right vector, movement input scale, and then forward vector. The Z goes to Z on both of those. Action value on your IA move key. I don't know if we need this one or not. I'm just leaving it in there. We don't need the. You can add that if you want. Camera, I guess we can just leave it in. Or gamepad, I mean. Leave the walk. We don't have the jump. That's all we really need in there. One thing we do need to do though is go to our blueprints, controls, SGK character inputs. We are going to add a new input. We are going to call this IA move. And then to make it easier, we're going to go up here to, is it in blueprints? We can find it in here. So on input, we want the IMC sandbox mapping context. And unfortunately, for some reason, it doesn't seem to, like if you shift right click on this, it's supposed to copy all of the sections here. But that does not seem, oh, did it? No, yeah, see, it doesn't seem to work, so. But you can at least do that for each individual key. So we need to add a couple more keys. We'll just add every one that's here. So we want 5 total. And we can just paste that in. Copy that one. Paste it. Copy. Paste. Copy. Paste. And then the gamepad one. Because why not? All right, and now when we go back in and play, you notice we're not doing that little kind of stoppy thingy that it was doing there. Just going a nice, smooth, straight sprint. And another thing that does too as well is if you remember when you sprinted with a weapon, let's let the sprint recharge here a little bit. Before we made this change right here, when you sprinted with the weapon would never, you'd always be holding it in up position. Well, now as you can see, it puts it down in front of you. So, that's another fix there. You know what, there's a couple options I found out about that I'd go over real quick here. So if you remember, we have it set up so that in our sandbox character, we are bypassing all this root transform stuff. Well, let's just go ahead and hook it back up and let's try something here. We'll do a little testing. So we want to hook that back up. We want to find the debug. This one we don't actually absolutely need to hook back up. But why not? And then we need to go back into the animation layer or animation graph and plug this guy back in. All right, so now if we go back into game, if you remember, turn in place kind of still works, but you can still, like, it does this weird thing with your head. So, what we can do is go to the SGK animation blueprint, and in the update function right here, just bypass turn in place, because we were getting a mixture right now of SGK's turn in place and gas turn in place. However, gas turn in place only works if you're moving or if you're holding the aim key down, which we don't have an aim key for this. But what we can do is go into, it is in the sandbox character, functions, should turn in place. So basically it's checking to make sure that you're moving and idle and that you want to aim or that you want to aim before it will change. And what it's doing is it even tells you right here, it determines the rotation of the character compared to the capsule and then does the turn in place. So if we do it just like this, that will bypass any of this, so it should just turn in place no matter what, but it's still going to be weird. You can still go way too fast. I mean, it's not terrible, I guess. So the jerky head movement's kind of weird, though. But what we could do is play around with this right here. Yeah, let you turn further before it actually, or less, I mean, it looks like. The guide I saw said put it to 5. Let's see what that does. It seems like it's quicker to start turning, but you can still spin all the way around. I don't know if that's something you want or not. At least it doesn't turn your head all the way around, I guess. So, but that's options. You can either use their turn in place. That's kind of buggy. Or you can go back in to disconnect that. Connect that up there. And then disconnect that. And reconnect that to go back to using SGK's turn in place. I kind of think I'm going to stick with SGK's for now. Just because you can't spin all the way around. I mean, it's really no different. So, all right, one more thing here, just in case, like, because the way it's set up right now is we just have walk and run. So I'm not exactly sure how to set up an intermediate sprint key, but if you want to, I can set it up so that your default will be run or like jog, whatever. Then you can press a key to sprint. You can press another key to walk. So that's what we're going to do. So first thing we want to do is go to our begin play and go and remove this section that we put in the other day. And then we're going to go to the inputs. On our sprint input here, we can go ahead and on the completed, we can get rid of that wants to walk. And then go to our gate and set it to run as default because we had it set to walk as default. So now we should have run as a default. Yeah, so we run, then we sprint when we hold the shift key down. Now we just need to set up a walk key. So I did make a video on how to do this before, but we can just do it real quick. It's not that hard. We already have a walk button in our character here. So we can actually probably just add the walk to our character inputs. I mean, we would need to do this either way if we were making a new one, so walk. I don't know what key we'll use. For now, I guess we'll just use the left alt. It just needs to be, I don't think it needs any kind of modifier or anything. It's just a simple press down button. All right, and now let's go ahead and let's just copy this walk event, or cut it and put it onto the master character. All right, so now we may need to change this something here, but let's see. So start out, we're jogging, we're sprinting, now we're walking, and walk is a toggle button. So, oh, there we go. Now you have run, sprint, and walk. Right, another thing here before I forget is if you notice when you jump off of things or just jump in general, you barely get any kind of landing. I'm actually surprised that actually had a landing. Normally it just kind of keeps running. Oh, okay, so if you jump and aren't pushing forward, then it kind of does a jump or landing, but that's pretty unrealistic right there how it lands. If you're moving, there's like nothing, you just keep going. So that's an easy fix. SGK master character, event graph, miscellaneous, right here. Event on landed, right click it, add call to parent function. Connect it in. And then boom, bada bing. We have an actual landing. And even when you're, I'll show you, even when you have forward pressed, you still land and keep going. But it's much better, so. On to the next thing. All right, got one more thing here. I'm gonna go ahead and add some options here if you want. You don't have to do this part, it's totally optional. This is from Troublemaker over in SGK's Discord. Came up with these ideas. He didn't like the way that the camera moves in third person. It just kind of follows the head everywhere. The head, I don't know. I don't mind it. I think it's pretty decent. But if you want to try this, we'll go ahead and see here. Go ahead and open up the SGK character. And then we want to go to our camera event here. And what we're going to do is go ahead and move that out of the way. And before we enter into the timeline, what we'll do here is go ahead and get the mesh. We use the driven mesh. That's what we're already attaching to. If you haven't gotten to, well, you should be having a driven mesh anyway. I don't know. We're using the driven mesh because that's where the camera sockets are. So, and then we want to go ahead and get the boom as well, camera boom. And then what we're going to do is on first person, going to attach component to component. And we want this to be to the mesh head bone, or if you have a socket, thread it to the socket. Put that there. And you want to snap to target. Don't need to worry about scale because I'm not changing the scale. And just go ahead and duplicate it. Plug that in. That there. And then we need a camera boom again. We'll set that to none. But then we also need to add a offset here. So Because if we just were to do it right now, the camera boom's just going to probably drop to the floor. Let's see. It's actually going to be in third person when we start, so it should already. Yeah, see, there's a camera at the floor. So we need to. I didn't have no distance on it. That's kind of weird. Anyway, what we do is get the camera boom, and set a relative location. And we'll try 16. 163 is what Troublemaker had for his settings here. We'll see what it looks like. You can go ahead and adjust it to whatever you think is good for you. And then now, as you can see, the camera is completely independent from the character. Like it doesn't, it's not, it's still attached to the character, moves with the character, but and then when you switch to first person, it goes back into being attached to the character. All right, so that's one option you can do. Another thing we can do if you don't really like the way the camera behaves there is we can go into, let's save that. Now we should go back to normal. Yeah, see, I personally like it like this, but that's fine. Everybody has their own what they think is better, and that's fine. There's nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with that. Do it how you want it. All right. So next thing, what are we going to do? Oh yeah, for camera, what we can do is go to our animations here. I think actually we probably want to go to this one. Go to our BP anim Foley event here. And then on our received notify here, see camera, shake, the play world camera shake. We can, from the mesh component, we can, see, owner. Yeah, get the owner, that's going to be an actor. Then we can get world location. Oh, we need actor location. Actor location. Get actor location. Plug that in here. Oh, I don't know. I'm not really super familiar with camera shakes, but let's try, I think a 500 should be enough to definitely cover. That might be too much, actually, because I think that just anything in that radius is going to get this shake. Then we can go ahead and promote that to a variable. Set it to instance editable. So yeah, I already had mine, but you want to override the receive notify in here. Make sure everything's connected up, and then just put this in between. You could actually even do this after. It doesn't matter. Let's actually do it after. So, boom, boom. There. All right. Well, there's that. I don't really know if we'd want that for this, but all right. So now that we have some camera shakes, you see we have none here. Let's save that. Let's just go ahead and make some in here and see. We want blueprint class, camera, shake. The legacy camera shake here, I think, is the one we need. We'll call this CS for camera shake, and we'll call it walk. And we'll just duplicate it and call it run. And you could, if you wanted to, you could make a sprint one as well. But I don't think there are sprint notifies, so walk and run, I think, are the only options we actually have. So go ahead and edit it. And let's see. I think frequency is what we need to change. Probably amplitude too. Let's just see. So now that's the walk. We'll go ahead and find our two walk events here. I had already had some that I was doing some testing with earlier, but we're going to use new ones. Actually, I should probably look at that one. Because I don't exactly remember what the settings were that we used, so. All right, so let's go ahead and just set it up like that one. That was 0, that was negative 0.2, wasn't it? Yeah, then 50. This is 0.3. All right. Then if you want to, you can add more to it, like maybe some yaw. Let's try it. Just you go with the same settings. All right, and then we hit that one. Walk. There's a little bit of camera shake. You can turn it up to see it bigger. Oh wait, we weren't even walking. Never mind. Yeah, you can see it, I think. Yeah, there's definitely some shake there. Let's see without it. You can find that out real quick just by going up here and bypassing that. Yeah, I don't think it's that much difference actually. Maybe we don't have enough amplitude there. Let's try a positive number. I've never messed with camera shakes before. This is totally just me messing around. I watched this short video on. Oh, did I hook it back up in the notify? Yeah, I did. Doesn't seem to be working though. Try that. I don't know. I don't think it's really. There might be some. Let's go ahead and play with a couple more numbers here. That's all that was changed in that. It's all the same. Yeah, it doesn't really seem to be doing anything actually. Well, let's try. There are some default ones. These. Let's just try sprint shake. Those came with something. I'm guessing that it was GASP. Now that feels like it's actually doing something. Definitely looks like it's moving more. Yeah, definitely you can feel it when you're. Let's see. Yeah, you can, because when you're walking, it's pretty good movement, but when you're running, it doesn't move as much. So it definitely works. That one works. I don't know what's wrong with mine. Let's see. Where are those? Yeah, that's actually part of survival game kit. Yeah, frequency probably needed to go lower, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, his worked pretty good, so up to you if you want to use that or not. It's an option. And then one other thing here, what was it? Oh, for weapon, if you want, if you remember on our weapon, when you shoot it, the bullet doesn't go to the crosshair, it goes to where the barrel is actually pointing. Pack up an ammo, a mag here. Yeah, see, it's not even close to the crosshair. Now, I actually kind of like that. You might not if you don't want that. If you want it to hit the crosshair, there's a solution that this was also Troublemakers fix here. Go to items, foldables, master range weapon. You want to go to projectile calculation. I'm going to do it slightly differently than he did here. He made a variable. I'm just going to, let's see, what are we looking for? So if you remember the other day, we went through here and found all these fine look at rotations and swapped them out. What we're going to do is on here, we want to select the select, not a select rotator. We want to select. And then what we're going to do is we get our character component, get our camera view. And then equals enum. And if it's first person, we'll plug it in right there. So if it's first person, we want to use this find look at rotation. So that goes to true. And then our fix that we did here goes there. And then go ahead and copy that. Because remember, there's a couple places where we need to put those. So anywhere we have our find look at rotation guy here. I'm going to go ahead and replace it with this little select combo here. That's true. That's false. That goes there. And then there's another one. True. False. There. Another one right here. I think this is the last one. So true. False. There. There's that one. There's that one. That one. That one. I think that's it. That should be it. All right, so now you probably set up similar for third person as well, because it's not going to hit the crosshair right now either, I don't think. Yeah, just shooting where it's pointing. But now, in first person, when you're not aimed, it's going to the crosshair. Oh, it's still going to the crosshair. Why is it going to the crosshair still? What did we miss? I forgot something. Must have. Oh, I know why. Because we need to add an and in there. Totally missed that. All right, so is first person, and we need to get aimed here. So we need and lean. I'll just put it on the bottom here. There we go. That's what we need to do. Is we need to have this and in here. So my bad. Completely forgot about that. Copy. So there's one. There's one right here. Pull it out here. It's fine. Another one right here. And then where's the last one? So there's one, there's two, that's three. Last one's right here. All right, that should be it. Now we should be good for that. And I mean, you could use it in first person. Just you would have to line up your weapon better so it's closer to the aim point. I haven't bothered yet. It changed a little bit when we switched over to the GASP character anyway. So, all right, so let's go ahead and take a look. Weapon, get our backpack. Get mag. Ammo. Load her up, reload it. Still shooting like that. And wait, am I doing wrong then? Not aimed? Yeah, that's it. Jeez. Come on, man, wake up. So, we need this to be a not. It'd probably be easier just to do that. Alright, now that we have those all swapped out here, now it should work. Alright, so yeah, now we're hitting the crosshair. Which actually isn't too bad, it's not far off. When we aim, it's hitting where we're aiming at. So, there's that. And I don't know if you noticed, but I don't think we went over this yet. See how much it's swaying there? We can reduce that a little bit by going to, let's see, where's our weapon? We want to find our layer here. We want to go to our ABP M4 animation layers, details, third person, animations, aimed animations, idle animation. If you browse to this, it's already here, it's already in here. You have this IA idle aim still rifle. Pop that in there instead. It's still gonna sway. It's just not quite as much. Once you kind of stop moving. So yeah, see, it's not moving nearly as much, so. All it needs is just the socket adjustments, or maybe even just twist it a little bit in the animation layer to get it lined up a little bit better. But yeah, I mean, that's way less sway, so. And you could probably do something like this. Let's see, where is it? So we'll say layer. You want the base holdable. We want to find the, which would be this idle? All right, so that's idles. What I was thinking is we might be able to add a like a blend node in here. I'm not sure where we'd put it though, honestly. Or maybe it's in the aim offset. It's the input pose, cache pose. It's modifying all that. It's adding the other one. So we got a base pose, procedural pose, standard pose. What I was thinking, maybe like on the aimed, you could add another blend and have that just blend whatever the normal aim offset is with that still one that we just made here, but I'm not sure how that would work. We'd have to also make a new variable to tell it whether it's aimed or not, but that's something you could think about. But I mean, it works pretty darn good with just that. And if you want, you can also go to, is this the combat also uses the same one, and that would be just your standard aiming. This one holds it down in front of you a little bit, but when you got your this should be a little less, have a little less sway in it right now too, compared to the standard idle one. So that's an option for you to make a little less sway. So, and then also the other options that Troublemaker had there for you. So anyway, that should be it. Have a good one.